Welcome in 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Today, we are going to be talking about Mental Health Monday. As you may or may not know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we have been doing Mental Health Mondays in the show for quite a while now, probably 3-4 years. And they're important. They're important because, first of all, in the particular business of the automotive space, the ego around the idea of getting help for yourself is sort of a problem. You know, it's been a problem. I've been in this industry since 1998, so I know what exists. So I really want to go through and just kind of, touch on a few things I think are important when dealing with mental health. First of all, it is okay to ask for help. It goes back to the ego discussion that I mentioned early on. You see, it's something that as I was younger, I thought I had to accomplish everything on my own. I didn't think there was any way to, like, if you ask other people, it was a weakness. If you ask other people, they were just going to get in the way. Like, there's all these reasons why my ego really wouldn't allow it. And now I find myself, man, picking up the phone right away to ask somebody for help, just because now I live in a world of efficiency. So if I want to be as efficient as possible, if I don't have the answer, I have to go find it. If I get stuck on a problem, I have to go find someone to fix it. Not fix it, but talk through it type thing. So it's okay to ask for help. The other thing is your own personal journey is yours. And so I find folks comparing journeys all the time, where people are at, where they're not at, etc. I am 43, about to be 44 years old. And my attention to my mental health, the work I put in on my mental health, it's recent, in the course of 44 years. It's probably in the last 5, 6, 7, maybe. It's something that evolves. It happens as you go along. You don't have to feel like you have to be somewhere or be on a track further or be, something different. I hear people all the time worry about where they are, or is it too late to get started, or any of those things. It's never, ever, 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 ever too late to get started, to ask questions, to delve in. Because for yourself, I find that I can't be the CEO that I think I am. I can't be the husband that I think I am, or the friend and family member that I think I am, without having put the time in and the focus in on my mental health. Another thing that comes up a lot that I think makes most men, especially, uncomfortable is the idea of being vulnerable. And I recently had a discussion. I do Reiki, and so my Reiki master and I were talking, and basically I had told her about a feeling I was having about, just family and family kind of interpretation of myself, after sharing with them some information they were unaware of about my past and my family. And I thought that they kind of started to look at me differently. And I felt like people were looking at me with pity. And so no, right? We all have trauma, and I wasn't comfortable with people having heard about some of the trauma, then looking at me like I was broken. But in my conversation with her, it basically came out that that's not broken. That's people seeing the true me, the authentic me, is the one that's laid all the cards out on the table. And it's interesting because it's not how it felt. But when put into that perspective, she basically was like, look, they look at you this way because now you identify as a person. Historically, friends and family view me as a robot because that's how I present publicly. When it comes to business, it comes to getting things done. Like, our business doesn't stop. We've all been through humongous shit in our lives, whether it's with our wives, with our family, but our deadlines, everything's met. And so I think people have always viewed that sort of rigid, process-driven mindset to be something of like, he just doesn't have feelings. And I've, trust me, man, I've dealt with this shit with my family for a long time. because I try to deal with stuff on my own and I try not to put it on other people. But putting stuff on other people is being vulnerable. Now, I'm not talking about trauma dumping on other people either. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the measured approach to it. Talking with people, sharing with people that you think can handle it, but B, more importantly, can be supportive in that and help through that, because it's an ongoing journey, trauma and dealing with trauma, and vulnerability is a humongous part of that. And I found recently, after having sort of had these bigger discussions about trauma, that I feel different. I operate different. I look at things different. I was making the comment the other day to somebody that I haven't felt this sort of, I don't know, relaxed, carefree is a weird word to use, but my own self, I have felt untethered. And I think that's directly related to sharing my shit. And so I challenge folks to try it. I've tried all kinds of different ways to get in touch with my, mental side and dig into myself. When I was younger, I used mind expanding drugs to a nth degree. And the thing about it is they worked. Had I followed it up with real therapy or a real process to deal with what I had seen and what had come up during those hallucinations, during those times, if I could have taken it a step further, maybe I would have been further along instead of just trying to use the sort of, idea that, hey, I did this, I was enlightened, right? And it's a classic story, right? Kid in the Arizona desert. And you were like, yeah, that's it. I'm good. It's fixed. Not true. Especially at 20, 21 years old. Nothing's fixed, man. Nothing's fixed. But again, if I would have followed it up with something more meaningful, as far as therapy, folks, not a dirty word. Like now there's digital forms of therapy, right? You can log online. There's all kinds of ways to do it. And it doesn't have to feel like a negative. It doesn't have to feel like a weakness or that someone sets you back, because it's your mental health, man. It's how you feel. And most folks got trauma, most folks do. And I'm not asking you to go out on the streets and share your trauma. Trust me, it's not shit I'm doing. But I'm willing to say the word on this show, and I'm willing to go down the road of kind of where I've been at. What people see today, that's 30 years in the mix. I'm working on shit, trying to be a better person after having dealt with it. So it's not a linear path dealing with your mental health, dealing with the trauma of your past, dealing with the trauma of your future. And I know people, trauma, buzzword, whatever. It's a real word. It exists, and it's okay. It's truly okay. So as we kind of get here, we're starting to wrap up Mental Health Awareness Month here, the month of May. Just take a step back and look at yourself and say, have I given myself all the tools that I can to succeed? Have I worked on me? Trust me, I am someone who puts everybody else first, and I have my entire life. And it's even weird to tell you this, that I'm trying to put myself first. I've always viewed myself, weirdly enough, as very selfish. Like, that's how I know myself as a person, right? I am. I like what I like. I want what I want. I work for what I work for. But being selfish can also mean focusing on yourself. And to others, it looks that way. It looks like you're being selfish because you are trying to work on you. That is incorrect. It's incorrect. It's how people feel, so that's fine. But it's incorrect for what you're trying to do. You're trying to be better for you and whoever else is in your circle that depends on you, right? What's the rule on the airplane, right? Put your mask on first before assisting others. That's what we're talking about here, folks. Mental health, it's extremely important. Get after it. And as my man Drew Carey says at the end of All the Price is Right, I love you. Have yourselves a great week. We'll talk to you next week.